Good morning and greetings from Kingston, and welcome to Somewhere in Between, your 2024 readings from Planet Waves. These are the 26th annual readings. I have written these all over the world and have just finished this one about 10 or 12 minutes ago. Virgo was the last sign completed. I have been at this since November, sitting here every day, usually well into the night. It has been fun to write about something that does not involve scientific fraud, although many people would say that astrology qualifies. I don't think so. I think that astrology is a form of kind of reporting on natural history and taking a spiritual look at nature, and a look at nature as the enchanted thing that it is, rather than the disenchanted thing that science makes it out to be. So, in my view, astrology is basically a work of poetry. Of course, that depends upon the astrologer. These readings are about 55 to 6,500 words in length. I let them get longer as I went through them. The last two were the longest, Libra and Virgo, and I just had more to say at that point. You would think I would have less to say as I wrote about the same thing for the 11th and 12th times, which is exactly what this was. I basically took the same 5 major events and wrote about them each 12 times, sometimes twice in the same article, so a little bit more. And those major events include the solar eclipse happening in April, the ingress of Pluto into Capricorn that takes place on January 20th, the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus on the 20th of April, the ingress of Sedna into Gemini for the first time in 11,400 years. That's special. And then the conjunction of Jupiter and Sedna on May 27th, and a few other things I'm not remembering. These readings are printed on PDFs and they're published on PDFs. The purpose of the PDF is so you can print it and take ownership of the thing. I highly recommend this with your astrological chart and with any readings that personally pertain to you, and any astrology writing that you find is helpful and informative, and it teaches you something about yourself and the world, which is that you get it off of digital format and into printed format. In the scheme of things, it's a minimal amount of paper, not like the 40 acres that used to be required to print one edition of the Sun. 40 acres of trees used to be required to print the Sunday edition of the New York Times, from what I have read. And so it's minimal, and you will gain something by making it your own. And so it's printed with space in the margins so you can take notes, and it is the kind of writing that will change a little bit every time you read it. It will things will seem to emerge. Good esoteric writing has that quality. Good fiction writing has that quality. In fact, all good writing has that quality. As you begin to make associations between ideas that you didn't think were connected, between facts that you didn't think were going to influence one another. And the thing about astrology basically is that everything influences everything else, and so that's why it's so potent. That's why I can take what is essentially the same chart and write an entire book about it, granted from 12 different points of view. And for those who claim to wonder why something might apply to 1/12 of the population, well, actually, we live in a world where everything is expected to apply to all of us. One particular kind of a test is good for everyone, which it's not. Or everything's divided up by gender, paper, plastic, smoking, non-smoking, back in the day, credit or debit, and so forth and so on. So to look at things from 12 viewpoints is to gain some, if not objectivity, a circumspect viewpoint, and that is what I've got. Now, each reading is going to come with 2 charts. The chart that I used for the reading itself, it looks like this. It's somewhat complicated with a great many points. And then the chart that I'm going to use in the video. So as most of you have the video, I'll get to the scheduling in a second. And so you've got this is a kind of a simplified chart where I take everything that I learned in this chart that's germane to the video reading, and where I mention it, and all the factors that I actually mention in the article or in the video will get into here. If I forget one, perhaps let me know or make a comment. As you can see, there's many more factors in this chart. This is basically the one that I used for Capricorn, and I don't write about them all, but I take them into account. And a lot of astrology happens in the background. But for those of you who are either curious about astrology or who are wanting to learn astrology in some way, or who know astrology and who want the peg into astrological notation, I've left plenty in the in these articles so that you can actually know what I'm talking about. But I try to do it in a way that doesn't distract you from the point that I'm trying to make. And you'll see that I place a lot of emphasis on the houses. The houses are where it's at. The houses are the environments in which these things happen. The way that I can write 12 different book chapters about the same aspects is because the houses change, which means that for each of the sun signs and rising signs, the context changes. So speaking of rising signs, these readings are applicable to your rising signs. The vast majority of people so far have either all 12 readings or a set of 2 readings that you have a chance to get your sun and rising, sun and moon, or your sun sign and a partner's sun sign. So this provides additional context. Note that these readings are not readings of your natal chart. They're readings of the solar chart. The solar chart is the chart for the sign and not the person. But you'd be amazed how much information comes through in just the solar chart, because so much of it is about interpretation and then the experience of knowing what to say about a given thing in a given context at a given time. These readings will each have something interesting for everyone. They are not this kind of predictive thing that is very narrow. They all take a broad and circumspect approach, and so in many of these readings, I read at least 5 to 7 of the houses, so that you have a lot of context. I have been working on this nonstop since November, going pretty much night and day, in addition to doing my program and the birthday readings and editing Planet Waves. So what I'm planning to do is now, as of the time of this recording, it is the 7th of January. I'm going to take a few days, dunk my head in some ice water and cool down a little bit, and then begin what I think will be a somewhat easier project of recording the recording the videos. And by the way, we've upgraded to video from audio. I need a change. People seem to like video, and then we'll also post the audio file so that if you want to just listen without having to, burn up all that bandwidth, you're welcome to do that. At heart, I'm a radio guy. And so my videos always work as audio, and then I'm the person who likes to take I don't have a TV in my room, but I'll take my Bluetooth headphones into my room and just listen to movies, because I like to listen to video, just listen to the words and sound effects and all of that stuff. So the timing of that is likely to be sometime around. It's going to take me a week and a half to do these. At the rate of 2 a day, that's a solid week. I'm not planning on writing any new horoscopes till the monthly horoscope for February, so we'll have one more week of somewhere in between samples, and I'm going to ease back on the writing for a couple of weeks, and then resume the horoscope with the February monthly. You pretty much have everything you need for January in this one, because January is a big month, and then April is a huge month in astrological history, and that leads into May. Not quite the same, but April is one of the most astonishing months in astrological history I've ever seen, given the eclipse of the Sun conjunct Chiron on the 8th of April, followed by the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus on the 20th of April. It is astounding, and I've done my best to, while not being predictive, to kind of lay some groundwork for how to work with such an intense and genuinely strange surge of energy, and then that melts into Sedna with an 11,400 year orbit entering Gemini, followed by Jupiter entering Gemini. So every one of these things is big news. Every one of these things would have been enough to base the entire annual edition on, all by itself. And this year we have these multiple things. In terms of questions you may have, if you're those who've purchased these readings are going to be reading them on a Planet Waves page. You will be registered to read them. You have to be logged in to read them, which means you'll be able to comment. And so I would suggest leaving your questions and your comments and reflections and things you want feedback on as a comment on the page where the reading is published. I will read those. Iva will read those. We'll all be keeping an eye on those, and we will be responding there. What else do I have to say here? Okay, I think that's about it for now. I'm going to say good afternoon for now, and the rest of my day is going to be spent illustrating these. Finishing the illustration. I've got most of it done. I've been collecting photos for months. If you haven't noticed, I've been rather active as a photographer, partly prepping for this. So I'll be adding photos and drawing these charts. I'm going to draw these charts. I've got a whole new, I've got lots of new Sharpies so that I can write in some detail in these, and a few other things going on today, and I trust we've got this in your hands as scheduled on time on the evening of the 8th of January. I'm impressed that I did it. These were, while I'm gabbing here, these were, this was an unusual writing project during Mercury retrograde. I don't think I've ever done this. It must have happened sometime in the past quarter century. I don't remember what year it was. And it was likely when these readings were not as long and involved. To have a nearly 6,000 word reading for a sun sign, nobody else in the entire astrological field is bothering to do this. They just can't do it. Most people cannot write a 75,000 word book in 6 weeks. It's just not a thing in a normal human capability. But here in the investigative reporting department, where I learned to write as a journalist, which means you have to write quickly and clearly, I am able to do it. So these are a one of a kind, unique in all the world thing. And I truly hope that you will make the most of having this information, of having a professional astrology reading for a very small price, with the work really laid out for you to understand. And you'll, even if you don't know astrology, you'll be able to follow what I'm writing and what I'm saying in these charts. I've trained you guys well to be fluent in the syntax of astrology, and even if you don't think you know it, I understand that feeling. I've had it a lot of times. You actually do and can follow along. And if you take that little bit of extra effort and you just see where things are in the chart and how they relate to one another, even before I get to the video where I'm going to heavily depend on these charts, you will get a lot more out of these readings. Before I go, I want to thank Iva VZ for helping hold this together, providing customer service, and helping me hold my life together during this time. Elijah Tuttle over in Woodstockish area for helping, basically holding all of Planet Wave's technical side together. Allison Ogden also lives right nearby. I forget what town, I think on the other side of the river. She has been the copy coordinator, working at a positively ridiculous pace, keeping these articles looking good. They've gone through 3 layers of proofreading. The other, besides Iva and Allison, the other layer of proofreading provided by my long time beloved copy editor, Jessica Keach. She's in Los Angeles. Jessica's currently, besides me, the longest serving person at Planet Waves. Jessica, I think I met her either in 2004 or 2005, so going on 20 years. So everyone, thank you for helping make this project possible, and thanks for being a Planet Waves customer and purchaser of somewhere in between, and hopefully a Planet Waves subscriber. One last thing. I'm going to send out a Substack that asks for input on the video readings, and we'll link that. We'll send it out in an article to the Planet Waves internal list to make sure that everyone sees it. But we're going to host this on Substack. So I'm asking for what you think I should be commenting on in your video reading. What questions do you have? What do you need some elaboration on? Obviously, I can't answer all these at once, but I think they're going to provide fodder for a lot of future discussions and possibly videos like this. So that will be on the Planet Waves Substack. You can get there directly at planetwaves.eu, and you can only comment if you're registered. So register for that. It's a Planet Waves property, but it's hosted on this blogging system called Substack, which is fantastic. It does audio, video, long-form articles with no length, beautiful scaled photos, and then commenting that rivals Facebook for its ease. All of it integrated into one nice-looking format. That's planetwaves.eu, but you'll see I'll be sending out a request for ideas and thoughts and comments. All right, before I keep talking for 3 hours, thank you again for your business, and more than anything, thank you for your trust. Lots of love. Signing off from Kingston, New York, on Sunday, the 7th of January. Bye for now.